Hi, this is JJ at CCBC. In this video, we'll look at how to resize an image using Photoshop. Major topics is, well, resizing an image. The software we'll be using is Adobe Photoshop Creative Suite version 6 on a Mac. So let's take a look at this. Here in Photoshop, I've opened up an image that I'm going to resize. Now, the first thing to know about resizing an image is you need to know what scale you're actually working on. If we look at the tab up here, you'll notice it tells us the name of our image. I'm going to resize this smile. It also tells us what percentage the scale is. Right now it's only 66.7% actual size. So if I go to my View menu, here's where I can see the actual pixels or actual size of my image. Right? So that's the actual size of the image. It just doesn't fit on the screen fully. You'll notice it'll give you some scroll bars on the side so you can scroll through the image if it's too big for your screen. But when you first open the image, it will scale it to fit the screen. So don't assume just because you're looking at an image, that's the actual size. Make sure you check the tab and know what scale the image is being displayed at. Okay, so resizing an image is actually pretty easy in Photoshop. If you go to the image menu, there's an image size option. So we'll click that, and it opens up the image size window. Which gives you some options. First of all, it tells you the actual pixel size of the image. You get to decide how big you want it to be. So I'm going to make this much smaller. We'll just do 600 pixels wide, and that'll be the new size. You'll notice when I typed in a width, it automatically typed in a height. And the reason for that is right now, constrained proportions is enabled. So you notice this check mark, and you can tell because there's a little bar connecting the width and the height, and this is supposed to be an icon of like chain links indicating the width is linked to the height and vice versa. So if I typed in a height of say 500, you'll notice the width changes accordingly. And the reason you want to constrain proportions is so you don't accidentally stretch or squish your image. So I'm going to turn it off for a second, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Let's say I want to make the width 20. Right? You'll notice the height didn't change at all. And when I apply that, you'll notice now my image has been squished into this tiny little sliver, and it's pretty much unusable. So always leave the constrained proportions on, unless this is the desired effect that you want. So I'm going to undo what I did using my history list, go back to my image size window. And here I'm just going to type in, I'm going to turn constrained proportion back on and make sure that the width and the height are linked. And I'll change the width to say 200 and hit OK. Right, so there's my image. It's now been resized. And again, check the scale. This is 100%, so this is the actual size of the image. In this other tab, I've opened the image full size, the actual size. Again, check your scale. It's not full size. So let's change the scale to actual pixels. And you can see that's the full-sized image, and that's my resized image. All right, so that's how to resize an image. Some general tips with resizing: you always want to start with a really large image and scale it down. You don't want to start with a small image and make it larger. The reason being, when you take a big image and you scale it down, you're reducing the amount of data. So instead of 1,000 pixels across, you might only have 100 pixels across. So it's going to get rid of, say, 900 pixels worth of data. If I take an image that's 100 pixels across and scale it to 1,000, the computer has to generate 900 pixels of unknown information. And Photoshop's pretty good at scaling things, but it has no idea what this image is of. It could be a butterfly, a person, or a bunch of smiley and frowning faces. Photoshop doesn't know. It just makes its best guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale this image way down and then return it to its actual size. So let's start actual size. Let's go to our image size menu here. I'll close my history list. And let's make the width 50. That's very, very small. So we're going to reduce a ton of data. Right? So it's really a thumbnail sized image. Now what I'm going to do is reset it to its original size. So the actual size was 1,195 wide. So we'll go back to this image, 1,195 pixels wide, hit OK. And you'll notice we've lost a lot of data here. If I show you the original image that hasn't been resized, that's how much clearer it is. This is the image that I scaled down and then scaled up bigger. So you'll notice it gets really blurry. It's a very poor quality image, and it'll stand out against other high quality images if you try to use it. So a rule of thumb with resizing is always take large images and resize them smaller. Try not to take a small image and resize it larger. If you only make it, say, 50% bigger, you're probably okay. There won't be a lot of loss of quality, but when you try to double, triple, quadruple the size of the image, it just gets blurrier and blurrier, and you lose a lot of quality with your image. Hope you learned something in this video. See you in the next one.